What does it mean to live a high level life? And when you're in high performance mode all the time running your business, how is that impacting you, right? It can be stressful. It can be overwhelming. How do you manage all that and still stay on that success track? We're going to answer that question right here, right now on the Scale or Fail show. Welcome to the Scale or Fail show. I'm your host, Allison Maslan, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Pinnacle Global Network. And we mentor business owners all over the world. We love business, and we love you as the business owner because you are the change maker. You are the person that is making things happen in the world. And speaking of change makers, I have someone really dear to my heart on the Scale or Fail show today, and we're going to talk about breakthroughs. We're going to talk about balance. We're going to talk about recalibration. JuliAnn Stitick is an American motivational speaker, high-performance coach, 3-time author, and the CEO of Recalibrated Living. For the past 25 plus years, JuliAnn has worked with leaders and influencers in the entrepreneurial world, as well as executives such as world-known executives from Lexus, Nordstrom, Keller Williams, Disney, VISTAGE. And her unique approach has also attracted notable Oscar and Golden Globe winning clients. JuliAnn helps her clients create the perfect formula of personal and professional development tools to help them achieve what they want successfully while navigating the complexities of a high-level life. So without further ado, JuliAnn, I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm excited to spend time with you, Allison, and share some fun tips today.
Well, how long have we known each other now?
I would say 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah, so
it's been longer than that. It's been more like 10.
Really?
Yes.
Well, from when we first met.
Yes.
At that NAVO meeting, and I remember. So JuliAnn is one of those people that you don't forget. You remember that first impression when you met them, those kind of people that just show up and light up the room. She has that gift, and I've had the honor of working with JuliAnn for several years as a member in Pinnacle Global Network. And she's got an incredible business and how she's helping people. But you've had quite the journey to get to where you are now with this Recalibrated Living. And I would love for you to share a little bit of your background and, how is it that you are so passionate about the work that you do?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm a 5th generation entrepreneur. And my father owned a wheel alignment business when I was a kid, and my first job was cleaning the bathroom at his shop.
Fun.
Now, if I didn't do a good job, boy, I had to go back and do it again. And one of the things that I was really raised with was a very, very powerful work ethic. And being that my dad worked on cars, everything was always very precise with my dad. And so that was the first job. And then let's fast forward. My career started in the commercial investment real estate industry. I was a broker. And then I ended up with that company becoming the VP of marketing and sales. And then I liked the work, but I wanted something that was more personally fulfilling for me. And so I made a real shift and I became a personal stylist for Nordstrom. Did that for a few years. And then again, I wanted something that I could sink my teeth into a little bit more. And I really wanted to run my own show anyway. So I started my business and did personal brand development for about 25 years. And then most recently, I started recognizing that there was a need that wasn't being served in my target market, and that was high performance coaching. And so I made a very a left turn pivot with my business and my brand. And it's been now a little over 4 months, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I've known you for some time. And in a sense, you were already helping people do this all along the way. You just hadn't really named it. But first of all, I love the word recalibrate. I just think it's a cool word.
It is because you know what? It's all about, so I look at high performance living as it's like, how can we continue to just fine tune our lives or recalibrate the pieces that maybe need some up leveling so that we can feel successful in all aspects of our life.
And what do you think is a high performance life?
Right. A high performance life. So I would say the biggest pain point that I see with my clients is that they're very successful in one area of their life at the expense of the other areas of their life. And so what I do is I actually start with a 6-point high performance life inventory where we look at all aspects of their lives. We determine what needs a little bit of fine tuning, and we start with incremental steps in each one of those areas so that they can begin to feel successful in all aspects.
Wow. And yeah, I mean, I would imagine that really makes sense because you can get sucked into certain areas of your life. It becomes your focus, but at the, where you start really, what am I trying to say? You're like really deficient in these other areas, and it's could be hurting you.
It absolutely. And so what I see is oftentimes people will come to me, they're really successful in their business, but they're exhausted. They're working 80 hours a week. They are grouchy.
Never been there.
Grouchy to their families, right?
Yeah.
And and what it really comes down to is really looking at where is the balance and how can we start to shift some of the focus that they put on work. Because here's the thing, people spend the most time doing what they feel successful at, right? And they avoid the things that they're not so successful at. And so as an example, one of the aspects that I address right away is time blocking and then well-being. And so they're spending all of these hours at work and they never feel like they can get everything done. And then they're exhausted and they're angry because they're working so hard and they just never feel like they can get ahead. So when we recalibrate the timing and we start adding in some well-being practices, then things start to shift. And what ends up happening is they end up having more time, they end up having more fun, and they end up feeling better.
Yeah, it really is such an illusion, isn't it? I mean, first of all, will you ever get everything done? No. You're not going to get it done. And if you're burned out, you're not going to enjoy it.
Right.
So it just makes so much sense. Last year I committed to taking a week off every month, which just sounded so outlandish, but it was amazing. And we had our most successful year. So it's just, I really feel like it's interesting how the brain takes over. Why do you think that business owners operate that way, where they're endlessly pushing themselves? And I know some people that are watching this right now go, yeah, that's me, but I have to do it. Right. What is that about?
I think it's a frame of mind. I think it is a belief system. And I have to work hard and I have to take care of, and we're micromanaging, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. I know you and I know nothing about that.
No. Mm-hmm.
But we think we need to do it all ourselves. We're business owners. We're really passionate about what we do. We like things done a certain way. We also have gotten into the routine of doing things a certain way, and our schedule has become a routine, but oftentimes it's not by design. And that's where business owners can begin to look at how they are designing their day, how they're designing their schedule, so that they can actually get more done in a shorter amount of time. And the work product is more quality because they're hyper focused. So example is with the time blocking that I do, is that we try to group like activities together into time blocks. So you're not spending time context switching back and forth, and you can do a solid job on this piece of the puzzle, check it off your list, and then move on to the next thing.
Oh, I like that. And what popped in my mind is this thought of designing your day, right? We create strategic plans. We have plans in our business. We follow those steps, but we don't, typically people don't design their day or design their life.
Right.
Overall.
My week is so time blocked out. So now it's by design. It doesn't mean it's rigid. It means that, hey, if I need to step out and take care of this, I can get back to it. But it's literally in my calendar that for this 30 minutes a day, I'm on social media. For this hour on this day, I'm writing content. It's very, very specific, because then I know I'm going to get everything done that I need to get done, and I'm able to be more effective at it. The other thing is, as a coach, my coaching hours are very specific hours, and there is nothing else that gets done in between, because I want my brain and my mind to be focused 100% on what it is that I really love doing, which is coaching people.
And do you also help your clients block out time, for fun stuff or stuff with their spouse?
Absolutely. So we look at their entire, what is it that you want for your life? How do you want to be spending your day? Right. And we do it like ideal. Okay. We're going like, what's visionary life? What do you want? When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? And then what do you do? And then what do you do? Right. And the beauty is, when we map all that out, we just reverse engineer, and we start doing most of those things that we can already start doing right now. And it accelerates us achieving that. So if you want to say that, like, every Friday night, I'm going to have a date night with my honey, that literally goes in the calendar for the next year. It goes on the calendar, so that when it is in black and white on the calendar, it's so much easier to stick to the commitments that we make to ourselves.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, don't alter that, like really stick with it.
Right.
That's the commitment that you're making. I think that's awesome. And I just feel like that is so needed, because I know business owners work so hard. And of course, in Pinnacle, we're trying to get them to build a team managed company so that they aren't micromanaging so much. But I do think, like what you're saying, that there is a conditioning. I know with my family and my parents, then growing up in the Depression and all of that stuff, that was the mentality, was you work hard, and you work hard 24/7, And then I think with our generation, we question that and look at, well, what do we really like? What are we passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this work is so important. What do you think is the biggest roadblock to success that you find when you're working with your clients?
The biggest roadblock to success is people's is belief systems. I mean, that's how it's what you believe about yourself. It's what you believe that you are capable of accomplishing. And I call them the voices that sit on your shoulder, that say things like, who do you think you are? Don't try to be the center of attention. That's not the right thing to do. That's not the way our family has done it. So all of these belief systems, but the beauty is that we have the ability to like press the pause button and say, how do I want to live my life? If I got to wipe the whiteboard of my life clean, how would I design it moving forward? And interestingly enough, this brings up something that I'm really passionate about right now is this idea around success systems. And the success systems and the routines and all of the things that we put into our lives really are going to ultimately program our subconscious brain, which is our autopilot. And when we talk about people having like roadblocks, like what's the roadblock? To begin to question all the things that we believe, like all of the things that we believe about ourselves, and go, is that really me? Or is that someone else's story and experience that they have carried down from generation to generation that I'm just living because that's the way that I was programmed to live?
Right. And all of those belief systems, every single one that you mentioned, are a limit.
Yes.
Like they keep you small.
Yes. Well, and perfect case in point is that I knew that I needed to pivot my business a while ago. I just hadn't found exactly how I wanted to make that happen. But that belief of, well, you can't make a change. Well, what are people going to think? Well, you know, all of those stories that go through our minds, that we have to just stop and say, what I know is that I'm here on this planet to help people using the gifts that I've been given. And whatever that looks like, if that means that I need to get out there and be more visible, show up online more, whatever that looks like, I've got to put my own insecurities in the back seat and remember that it's not about me. It's that I have to use myself as a tool to attract people so that I can help them.
Yeah. And you really touched on something powerful. It really isn't about you. It's not about me. It's about the people that you're serving. And when we can get out of our own way and lead from that place, that's where transformation happens.
Yes.
And, you know, for you, when you made this pivot, because we already saw you that way. It's so interesting.
I know. Well, when you talk about what's the biggest roadblock, I'm the biggest roadblock.
I know, but we all do it, right?
Yeah.
We all do it. And I think too, we're going to evolve and change.
Yes.
We're always growing and evolving, you know, and I just did an interview with Ben Hardy, and he's come out with a book. He spoke at Pinnacle called Personality Isn't Permanent. And what he says is your personality is your comfort zone. And I love that. Like, that means that your personality is always going to change because you're always growing and evolving. And what I love about you, JuliAnn, is that you really are embodying that recalibration within yourself, and you're giving other people permission to do that.
Good.
You know, because they're recalibrating with you. So what are some tips that you could share for people that are like, okay, I'm ready to recalibrate. Like, I'm ready to course correct. I'm ready to pivot. How can I create a more successful, balanced life?
Right. Okay. Well, I think that the two things right off the bat are, first of all, the time piece. That's absolutely crucial. And that's a real simple doing a time inventory and then grouping those like activities together into time blocks. That's very simplistic. But
hold on, just to back up so people are clear. Do you mean like put things into bunches and then get out your calendar and then just pick the time and block is just marking off that time?
Right. So for instance, let's say part of your responsibility is to write copy. Part of your responsibility is to interact on social. Part is making sales calls, right? So looking at the whole enchilada, what is it that I need to do in order to run my business successfully? And then group those things together. So like I wouldn't put meeting with my CFO on the same day that I'm writing copy, because it's a whole different part of my brain that needs to activate. And what I want to do is I want to really honestly protect that part of the brain that's getting accessed so that it's super, super targeted to what it is that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So you do an inventory for like 3 days, write it down every 30 minutes. What am I doing? Where am I spending my time? Then look at what you're actually doing. First of all, you're probably going to cut out a lot because you're going to recognize that you're wasting time doing certain things. And then group those things together. So if you have marketing activities, maybe you group those together. If you are a coach, you group your coaching calls together.
Mm-hmm. So it's the same type of, brain wave patterns that you need to tap into.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really powerful.
Yes.
And what else?
And then I think the other thing is, one of my favorites is it's a client favorite when I speak. I always share this, is the 8 things to do before you check your cell phone in the morning. And so what happens for most people, they get up, what's one of the first things they do is they check their cell phone, and then they like, oh, I got this email, and I got this, and I've got Twitter and social media, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And then
and you're like,
right.
You're pulled in 1,000 directions and you haven't even gotten up yet.
Right, exactly. And so the idea here is that these 8 things serve me mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, so that I'm prepared to be the best that I can be for the balance of that day. And so it's drinking 16 ounces of water first thing when I get up in the morning with lemon, meditation, prayer, journaling, good nutrition, like solid nutrition in the morning, movement. So getting, exercise. I always incorporate music into my morning because it wakes me up, making my bed. And then what I call shower, shampoo, and shine is to put yourself together, get, and especially when we're working at home, it's a little easier for us to get stuck in, I don't really have to do that much,
I really need to shower today.
Right. Exactly.
But you're right, because you just feel better.
You do.
About yourself, everything.
You do. It's interesting. Just the actions alone of putting yourself together increase your confidence level. Your confidence is increased for the balance of the day. That's gonna reflect in your sales. It's gonna reflect in the connections that you make. And believe me, when you are carrying yourself in a place of confidence, people notice you. They respond to you very differently when you are in a place of really standing in your confidence. The other piece of the puzzle that I think is really powerful there is I've cared for myself mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And now I kind of forget about myself for the rest of the day because I've done all the things that I've needed to do to sort of plug in. And then for the balance of the day, I can really be serving. Now, that's not to say that I don't take breaks, because when it comes back to time blocking, I work in 50-minute segments where I'm hyper-focused on a task, and then I'll literally set a timer, 10 minutes, and then I go outside and get fresh air, play ball with my dog, eat something, drink a glass of water, get some stretching in, some movement in. And then I'll go back to doing what I do.
You know what? I think that is such a good idea. Like, even me sitting here doing interviews, after a while, you can get super stiff. So I love the idea of setting your alarm or having a notification, get up, stretch, go outside, take some deep breaths, drink some water. That's a big one, right?
Yeah, we need to drink our water, Allison.
Hey, it's, I got to finish this one and go get more. But, but yeah, no, I think that I was definitely like a camel in a past life or something like that. It's so important. And I think it goes back to what you said about designing your day and designing your life, because all of these things you could just ignore and get sucked into what's pulling you there. But if you're going to design your life, then you've got to make the intention and take the action of all of those things that are important, because if you meditate or if you journal or if you're drinking your water, whatever does come up on your email, then or in your life or that phone call, you can handle it.
You're so right. And I always like to say that the daily routines that we have in place are our insurance policy for when things are hard.
Yeah.
Because we've been consistently taking care of ourselves. And when we do that, it's reducing our stress. And then when we need to face challenges, we are more equipped to do it.
Yeah. No, I think that's so important. Can you share maybe just an example of a client that you worked with and how you helped them recalibrate and how that made a difference?
Oh, absolutely. We can talk about Kristen, who you know.
Yes.
And when Kristen first came to me, when she first hired me, she picked up my first book, and she read like 3 chapters. And then she came up to me at an exhibitor booth. It was actually at one of your events. It was at the Scale event. And she said, I don't know exactly what you're going to do for me, but I know that I need to hire you. And so she hired me. And as a result, so she had 2 successful businesses and was working way too much. And what we did is we just sat down and we just looked at, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want for your life? I want to be traveling. I want to take more time off. I want to take better care of myself. And so that's exactly what we did, is we looked at, what do you want to accomplish? Now let's reverse engineer it and build the routines into your life so that you can have those and achieve those things. And now I can hardly get in touch with her because she's in Africa and she's traveling all these wonderful places. And she physically changed in such a big way. She was stressed and tired. And now when I do see her, she looks softer. She looks more feminine. She's happier. She's smiling more, and her team's happy. And their revenue has boosted considerably. And she's working way less.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love it. That's such a beautiful story. And she would never take vacations before. I think she went like years and years without doing that. So that's amazing. Well, I think the work that you're doing is so important, and it's been so fun for me to see you helping all these people. And I've had the honor of working with you now, 5 years?
Yes. And I'm
5 years.
Listen, anybody that's watching, this woman is the real deal. Amazing human being. I've had the opportunity to witness her go through challenges, and everything she does it the right way, and she does it with grace. So that's my little plug for you, Allison.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we obviously love having you in Pinnacle. So just a couple other things. You've made this big pivot. We're at a time of pivots.
Yes.
With COVID, and, for those that are listening to this beyond that even, I think that we're going to have to continually look at how do we serve our customers in new ways. We can't stay stuck in habit and do things the same old way just because we've been doing it. How does a business owner know when it's time to pivot and make that shift like you have?
I think a business owner knows in their gut if they will listen to it. Because so often business owners are in the flow of what they're doing, and they're just doing it, and it just becomes autopilot for them. And they don't stop and say, am I really happy doing what I do? Like, I can't tell you how many people come to me and say, I just want you to help me figure out what I want to be when I grow up. Right?
Yeah.
Because we build these businesses, and like for me, I found that my juice was being able to speak and coach clients. That's what I love. I could do it all day long. And the other aspects of my business, I found that they were the ones that were really draining me. So I really looked at, what do I love doing the most? And then I figured out a way to build a career and a business around those things.
And you're so great at speaking. And the way you show up on stage, and I think we could even do a whole talk on first impressions, because you're amazing at the way you enter a room and how you carry yourself on stage. And I know you help people with that too, right? You help people with speaking and, making offers from stage and online, and, getting over the nerves of speaking.
Right. Well, the beauty is that work, when people think about like showing up online or stepping on a stage, there's so many of those voices that sit on the shoulder, and the fears and the anxieties. And the beauty is that those fears and anxieties, we can snip those in the bud, and we can reframe the way that they see themselves and their purpose in stepping up on stage. And the other piece of the puzzle too is, more often than not, people are uncomfortable presenting because they don't have a formula. And that's where I come in. I give people formulas. I give them frameworks and structures. And the reason that this is so important is I'm super creative, and I also am ADD. And I have learned, I've had to create these systems and routines and frameworks in my own life, basically as coping mechanisms that I've turned into a business, right? But it's very simple to shift that belief about I'm in fear when I step on stage to something else that's a passion that becomes connective with people. And of course, how you're carrying yourself, and really knowing how to articulate. That's the other thing. People say, I'm not really sure what to say. And more often than not, the answer is, well, just be yourself, right? And just explain things that you would, the way that you would to a friend. And so having the guidance in how to carry yourself, how to view yourself, and then how to frame and structure a presentation, whether it's meeting someone at an event or stepping up on stage or teaching a webinar, those aspects, when those are plugged into place, the confidence and the influence increases huge. And to be able to watch, like one of my clients that's in our group spoke at one of our events, and it was the first time she spoke after a workshop that she attended with me. She got a standing ovation.
I know. That was Jeanette.
It was. And
oh my God. That was amazing.
Right. And she was always, she will say that she was a self-proclaimed odd duck when she was growing up.
Yeah.
And so that confidence to be able to watch somebody transform like that is huge.
She owned the stage, man.
She did.
Rocked it. It was so good. So good. Well, this has been fantastic, JuliAnn. I mean, there's so much there, so much that you've shared here. This is something that, gosh, so many business owners need this help. And you have something that you want to share with everyone?
Yes,
An opportunity?
I do. A couple things. I want to give everyone a free copy of my book. It's called Step Into Your Power, and it's a step-by-step strategy guide for maximum results at conferences, events, and networking opportunities.
Wow.
The beauty is all of these things, if you just plug them into your day-to-day life, you're confident all the time. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is, if there are people that are watching that are ready to up level, like they're ready to be challenged, they're ready to start showing up for themselves in a different way, and they're ready to invest in themselves, I'm offering a complimentary strategy session. So
Yeah.
I know you're gonna post how they can get in touch with me. I've got a beautiful landing page all set up with all of that information.
You want to go ahead and share that URL? Do you have?
Yeah, it's recalibratedliving.com/PGN.
Perfect, for Pinnacle Global Network. So let's say that one more time for those of you that are like driving or something like that, and we will post it on the video as well.
Yeah, it's recalibratedliving.com/PGN.
Perfect. What an amazing opportunity to be able to have a session directly with JuliAnn. So if you are really serious of taking your life to the next level and really designing that life that you love, definitely reach out and connect with her on that and getting her book and all that good stuff. So JuliAnn, thank you. This has been awesome. And I just love all the work that you're doing in the world. You're helping so many people. Really.
Thank you, Allison.
Yeah. So for those of you that you are experiencing the Scale or Fail show for the first time, if you haven't subscribed, what the heck are you waiting for?
Hurry up.
Hurry up, do that. We have well over 100 shows that you can go back and tap into. We have new shows coming out on a weekly basis on all platforms that are all things podcasts. We're on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We've got an audio podcast. We've got a video podcast, whatever you prefer. So definitely subscribe. And if you want to learn how we help business owners grow and scale, please check out Pinnacle Global Network, our community of business owners where we partner with you with a CEO to help you grow and scale your company. Go to pinnaclegn.com for more information. And till next time, get out there and elevate yourself because you are worth it. Bye, everybody. From my experience, business owners think way too small. In this disruptive marketplace, you have to stay innovative or you won't be here anymore. Business is not easy, but you don't have to do it alone anymore. We take you by the hand every step of the way so that you can finally take those hopes and those dreams and make them a reality. I'm Allison Maslan. I am the founder and CEO of Pinnacle Global Network. We guide and empower business owners around the globe to grow and scale companies that change the world. Pinnacle Global Network is a private mentoring and mastermind network where our business owner clients are partnered with the CEO for private mentoring and small group masterminds, the most amazing live events, and a vibrant community of supportive entrepreneurs. In Pinnacle, we work with business owners that are at the 6, 7, or 8-figure level. They're established business owners that have been running their companies 5, 10, 20, or more years, and they're either stuck at the same level and they just can't get beyond that, or they've been on a great trajectory, but they want a much bigger leap. So my father was my biggest inspiration, and he built the largest chain of women's clothing stores from 1955 to the early 80s. And he had such a passion for his work, and that really rubbed off on me. I started my first business when I was 19 and have built 10 companies over the last 3 decades. And so now in Pinnacle Global Network, I take that wisdom and experience for all those years in business, and I get to pay it forward with my team to help our clients really grow and thrive.
We have an amazing team at Pinnacle Global Network, and it all stems from Allison. Her core values, her vision, her mission in life, and she really has attracted like-minded individuals who have the same vision and mission for our clients.
The team are a bunch of rock stars. These are some of the most talented, diverse, exciting, experienced people you'll ever meet.
They have all grown multi-million-dollar businesses, and they all really, really care about the client's success.
We know what it's like to start a business. We know what it's like to grow a business. We know what it's like to scale a business. We've been there. We know the ups and downs. We've made a ton of mistakes, and we now get to share the benefit of our experiences with all of our clients.
What clients who work with us can expect is to get all of us. We bring 100% of our heart, our head, our knowledge, our experience, our team to what someone's going to solve.
There's a lot of support out there for the startup business owner. So we really focus on the established business owner because something happens, like you get traction in your business and all of a sudden you're the forgotten entrepreneur. Business owners work really hard and they get overwhelmed, they get exhausted. And the truth is that if you're the one that is delivering your product or service, your business cannot scale. And so we help our clients build a team-managed company so they're actually able to leave for a good period of time and the business continues to thrive. We work our Scale It method and help them figure out their multiplier so they can replicate themselves and their offering, and their business actually multiplies in profits and the number of people that they impact.
The Pinnacle community is just an incredible tribe of business owners that get together and speak the same language. Having people that are on the same path as you is so incredibly important and so powerful. It's a big part of our program.
When you come in as a business owner, growing a business or scaling a business, it gets lonely at the top. And this is an environment that you are never alone.
We become your advisory board. We actually will stand behind you. So when you take a step forward, guess what we do? We take a step forward so you can't go back. And so it's not just about business, it's about helping you be the best version of yourself.
So for businesses to really scale, the business owner has to move away from being a boss where they're micromanaging and telling people what to do, and basically then they have no life, to shifting into being a leader where they're empowering their team to stand up and take ownership so that they can take it and run with it, and the business owner actually then gets their life back.
And transformation is not an option when it comes to entrepreneurship. Transformation is required. As you grow your business, you get to a new level and you have to transform. As a person, as an organization, we're set apart because we help people transform. And that's probably our greatest challenge and our greatest strength.
Success is not created in a silo. Smart business owners know that if you want to get to the top, you have to work with someone that's been there, that's done it, that walks their talk. And so that you have this geo-force behind you and you get there in the fraction of the time. Having a coach is not just a luxury. It is one of the most important things that you can do to grow your business.